Thanks for clicking, guys. Here are my UFC 259 picks. This weekend, we have an incredible event. Lots of divisional implications here. This is a legacy card here with three fantastic championship bouts. We're going to keep seeing a ton of MMA progression here. Very, very aggressive fighting, hopefully. As we can tell from our opening bout between two very, very tough women. We have Lavina Souza and Amanda Lemos coming in. Very, very strong, solid grapplers. In this situation, with I enjoy betting actually the women fights. It is a dog or pass situation, but I think if Souza begins and continues a drop, she might be a better dog for this matchup. So I'm also thinking that fight, of course, which most women's fight do, go the distance. And in the next fight between Uros Medic and Alon Cruz, I'm just taking it possibly not to go the distance. I recall Alon Cruz getting worked in his Dana White Contender Series fight, as well as Uros Medic having somewhat of a padded record, lots of fights in Alaska. Obviously a Serbian, very tough, but I just don't see anything of value to bet on this. But in the next fight, even though it might not be the best gambling bout, it could be one of the fights of the night on the card. Mario Bautista and Trevin Jones, this is going to be fire here. Very, very athletic, very skilled guys. I don't think this fight's going the distance. I think it's just going to hold up for 1 or 2 rounds. But again, they're very, very similar fighters. So I'm going to take either guy by finish. I think just pick a fighter, pick a finish, and I think you'll come out being happy at the end of the night of this fight. Next on the card, we have one of my other favorite fights and favorite picks of the nights, Tim Elliott versus Jordan Espinosa. I really have Tim Elliott immediately just by submission. Jordan Espinosa has already lost 2 of his last 3 bouts were submission losses, so I don't expect him to really do any better this evening. And Tim Elliott being coached by Jim Krause in his corner, always a big plus. I look to him actually to have a good fight IQ, good plan in this bout, and get a quick finish probably in the first round. Next we have Kenney Nzckuwu, I apologize for that, out of Fortis MMA, going up against Carlos Ulberg, who I'm pretty much just calling it what it is, Adesanya's boy over here, who was also a Dana White Contender Series fighter. But Nzckuwu, Kennedy, was a 2-time Dana White Contender Series winner. That says a lot to me, really. Whereas Carlos Ulberg was very flashy, risky, showed a lot of inexperience, but definitely a lot of talent, lots of strength, lots of agility. But in this instance, I mean, it is dog or pass. I'm looking at the round props and Nzckuwu by finish and what he can do. On this next fight, all 3 of these fights are fantastic that we're looking at. Sean Brady and Jake Matthews. I mean, horrible betting fight. I'm going to stay away from it. I mean, you're going to bet against Sean Brady, who's 13-0, or you're going to bet against Jake Matthews, who's just a mean, tough, durable guy. I'm not betting against Jake Matthews again. It really is still Matthews or pass. So I'm probably going to pass on this one, but we don't know how it's going to. Things can happen between now and then, and I'll see how the lines are. But it's Matthews or pass on that one. And yes, to go the distance, they're extremely tough guys. Next fight, no hiding it. Dominick Cruz, my favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters, I should say. Sorry to mention that, but I'm actually going against possibly the decisionator here. He constantly always just does the same thing. He hasn't really developed over time, and he's going up against Casey Kenney, who's a mirror image of him physically. Whether or not he has the same skill set as Dominick Cruz is yet to be seen. I mean, how unique is Dominick's skill set really now? Everyone's seen the footwork. He's actually done it in Instagram. He's showed already the pattern for helping people to learn how he actually moves. I think that Casey Kennedy can figure out that riddle, take Dominick places where he hasn't been in a long time, because he is a fantastic counter wrestler, but Kenney has just recently been tearing it up in the octagon. I think he's going to be all over Dominic Cruz. I'm going to take Kenney by decision here against somebody who I really love their career, really wish they would pull out a win, but that isn't going to happen. A fight that I'm just going to really pass on, but I'm mentioning in passing, is Song Yadong versus Kyler Phillips. Song Yadong has plenty of gaseous muscles. He's a very physically intimidating guy. I bet against Kyler Phillips in his last bout. All he really has to do is weather the storm, I believe, from Song Yadong. This is another dog or pass situation here. Song Yadong hits really, really hard. I'm just hoping that Kyler Phillips has some form of octagon knowledge, executes some form of game plan, take Song Yadong into deep water, because he doesn't have the best fight IQ, he doesn't have the best cardio, and then he finishes or loses. So I'm going to pass, but it's something to look at. It might be an exciting fight as well. Man, talking about exciting fight, tons of guts and respect to Joseph Benevidez. After really being demolished, coming back, taking on who? Askarov? Oh, I have to take on that guy. Not something I'd want to do after really such a horrifying defeat. Tons of guts and respect to that guy. He's the underdog for a reason. He has a similar skill set as Askarov, and Askarov is just as talented as Benevidez. And so is Benevidez broken is what really is the question for all of us. I think he is. I think Askarov's a legit next contender. I see Askarov controlling this fight anywhere he wants to. Might be the best chalk on the card. I think he could actually finish this. Benevidez, lots of respect. I think he's going in there, and I think he should actually go in there and do his best. And I look that he does well, but I'm definitely picking against him and betting against him. Not lastly, we're not even near last. We are in a huge fight. Talk about guys who, one of the best fights on the card, best fights in a long time. These guys are just monsters. All four fighters that we see here are just fantastic fighters. I mean, which underdog has the better chance of winning in this instance here? I'm looking at Drew Dober having recent seasoning, just fighting all the time, very, very active. Thiago Santos, as just has been fighting, but coming off surgery, I don't think he's going to be the better dog here. Drew Dober and Islam, though, have similar skill sets. Both of them are just fantastically trained, iron versus iron. I believe Drew Dober trains with Justin Gaethje. Islam over there with Khabib. Really want, just fantastically trained individuals, dangerous men. I don't think the dog is home here on this one. Drew Dober is just going up against somebody that just eats up other wrestlers. Just those Russian guys over there. These guys are just really are accustomed to our style, American style wrestling MMA. So I'm going to still stay with Islam Makhachev, as I already have him as the part of a leg from last week with Anna Kalaev in a parlay. Next bout, another fantastic bout. We're talking about Thiago Santos. I saw him in the preview. I think he has a lack of movement right now. I'm going with the younger, quicker, fresh big man. Alexander Racik just looked great in his last outing versus Smith. Absolutely demolished him. I don't think Thiago Santos has the takedown defense anymore. I think Racik will be able to take him down at will. Won't need to, but will. Mobility, movement in the octagon. Mobility is one of the biggest things in the Apex. It's hard to move for everyone in the Apex. Can Racik use it to his advantage? Can Santos use it to advantage? And in fact, all of these fighters, and can Racik handle those touches? Thiago Santos has got to pound him, and let's see if Racik can handle it. If he can, which I think he can, the kick is gone. That Thiago Santos does not have a kick any longer. He's going to have to strike his way through Racik, who's younger, faster, more elusive. I think is going to get the fight to the ground or keep it standing and just run circles around Thiago Santos in this fight. Okay, so I'm taking Racik by finish. And coming up to some of the championship bouts, Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Wow. dominant boxing versus unorthodox boxing or MMA striking. I've watched Jan for a while. He has fantastic takedown defense. He's accustomed to fighting these Russian wrestlers. He's physically active. He's constantly pressuring people. He will not stop. He's not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. He's not going to let someone just jump on his back. If everyone's hoping for Aljo by a submission in that manner, that isn't happening. He is way, way too skilled to fall for something like that. But that being said, Aljo has to attack with some forms of skilled pressure, and by that I mean nothing just traditional. I think Jan is extremely traditional, and he's so consistent, and it's hard to break that mold. It's like coming against a wall. So I think Aljo has some of the skills to do it, and he has to do it just by making this an MMA grappling and striking match, not a kickboxing match, not a straight jiu-jitsu match or wrestling match. He has to just come and do things a little unorthodox. It might be a different type of submission that we see by Aljo, but I think it's there. I think it's possible. Anybody can be taken down. Anybody can be submitted. Is it Jan's time to be doing? I don't know. But we'll see if Aljo is able to close the distance, get close to Jan, have that seamless transition to a submission. But I don't think it's happening. I think Jan keeps him off, and I'm going to take Jan by decision in that one. Here we have the fight that everyone's afraid to bet on. There really isn't a great spot on this bout between Megan Anderson and Amanda Nunes. I enjoy watching it. I think it has some legacy implications for the women. Amanda Nunes is deservedly one of the greatest women fighters ever, and Megan Anderson gets a lot of respect for stepping up to fight Amanda Nunes, who is, as you see by the odds, just somebody who's just undeniably one of the greatest fighters of all time. So I think Nunes is wanting to leave no doubt here. She wants to put a stamp on her legacy. She just had a child. I think it's important for her to win. People are thinking that this is a distraction. I don't think it's a distraction. I think she's going to be able to manage her head well enough, use her fight IQ, and prevent Megan Anderson from capitalizing on her length. These women are both very big women. Amanda Nunes has a great reach and long legs herself. Megan Anderson has a great fight IQ. She's not a dumb woman. She is one of the smarter female MMA fighters out there, and she's going to survive. I think she's going to be able to do what she needs to do to get possibly this to a decision, or try to get it to a decision. But talk about fight IQ. Amanda Nunes' fight IQ has to be one of the best fight IQs in the game, period, male or female. I think she's going to be able to really, really grind her way in there in the first round, and she knows she wants to get her by a finish. She wants to take baby home dry and kiss baby, not sweaty, not even break a sweat. Go in there and choke her out really quick. I think that's what Nunes wants to do, and I'm going to, unfortunately, Nunes by submission isn't very tasty. It's a really horrible line. Nunes by finish is a minus 345, which is ridiculous. So the lines are not favorable. So I'm going to hope for the under at plus 100 and take Amanda Nunes as pretty much instilling and solidifying herself as not only the women's GOAT, but one of the greatest fighters of our time. Here we go. The legacy bout, the bout that's most important. I shouldn't throw shade on any of these fights and fighters, but when we talk of legacy, when we talk of MMA progression, and when we're talking about consequences in the division and the business, we are talking about a fight like this. We're talking about Jan Blachowich and Israel Adesanya for the light heavyweight championship. John Jones vacated his position, and Israel Adesanya capitalized on it. He really sees the moment here to put himself forth as truly the GOAT, maybe even ahead of John Jones. It's going to be interesting to see what John Jones tweets after this, win or lose, but he's going to be watching, because there is a great legacy possibly being made here. You couldn't script this any better for Israel Adesanya. He's capitalizing on this. It's better than an anime novel. I see him really, really seizing this opportunity to not only get a win here, but become one of the greatest in our sport. So let's see if that happens, because Jan Blachowich is real life MMA strength and power, real life MMA skill. He's not a video game. He's not a comic book. He's deceptively highly mobile. You know, we watched him in the preview riding a bike. He said, "Oh, that was no problem. We've seen him play pool. This guy really moves well. He's physically strong, and he's just as long as Israel." I think I'm going to chase Blachowich here. I'm going to chase the Blachowich method props. I'm actually going to chase the winning round props or winning group of round props with Blachowich. I just think he has that real power, real strength to get us there, and it's really going to be a fantastic event. So please let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Very appreciative. Come back next week. We'll have some more picks in the immediate future.